Hello everyone. So in this session we will discuss impulse turbine. So that is a Pelton wheel. Here we will discuss following topics. Those are introduction on Pelton wheel, components of Pelton wheel, working principle, velocity, triangle. So Pelton wheel turbine. So it is a tangential flow impulse turbine. The water strikes the bucket along the tangent of the runner. So here according to the flow, so it is tangential flow, and according to the energy available is the impulse, it is impulse turbine. So tangentially the jet of water is striking the vane tangentially, so it is a tangential flow. So since the energy available is only the kinetic energy, so that is it is called as a impulse turbine. So we will call Pelton wheel turbine as a tangential flow impulse turbine. So here the water will be striking the bucket along the tangent of the runner. The energy available at the inlet of the turbine is only kinetic energy. The pressure at the inlet and outlet of turbine is only the atmospheric pressure. So there will be no other pressure, only the atmospheric pressure will be available. This turbine is used only for the high heads and low flow. Whenever the heads available is high, then only we can use the Pelton wheel turbine. So let us go with the components of Pelton wheel turbine. So here we will have nozzle and flow regulating arrangement. So second one is a runner and bucket, third one is casing, and fourth one is a braking jet. So I will show the parts and I will explain detail in the next slide. So here you can see the nozzle and flow regulating arrangement. So that is here, and runner, and so this is the runner and buckets are attached to the periphery of this runner, and the cover that is called as casing, and the braking jet, so that is here near the right side, so that is called as braking jet or brake nozzle. So let us discuss each and every parts in brief. So let us go with the first part. So that is nozzle and flow regulating arrangement. So amount of water striking the bucket or vane of the runner is controlled by providing a spear in the nozzle as shown in the figure. The spear is conical shape, which is operated either by hand, wheel, or automatically in an axial direction depending upon the size of unit. When the spear is pushed forward into the nozzle, the amount of water striking the runner is reduced. On the other hand, the spear is pushed back, the amount of water striking the runner increases. So you can see here the spear arrangement is there. So this is the nozzle. Here it is water is coming through this penstock. So here the amount of water that is to be strike the vane or runner is controlled by this spear arrangement. If you push the spear, so that will reduce the amount of water. If you pull back the spear, the amount of water striking the runner will increase. So this is nothing but nozzle and spear arrangement. So we can control according to the amount of water required by using the spear. So here it is controlled by using either manually or automatically. So going with the second part, so that is bucket, runner with the bucket. So you can see uh, it consists of a disc on the periphery of which the number of buckets evenly spaced are fixed. So you can see this is a circular disc to which the number of buckets are fixed. So bucket is nothing but this thing. The shape of bucket is a double hemispherical cup or a bowl. So you can see in the figure 1. So this bucket are consist of a double hemispherical cup or a bowl shaped. So each bucket is divided into two symmetrical parts by dividing a wall, which is known as splitter. So in the center you can see the splitter, and we will have here it is divided into two equal symmetrical parts, and at the center we will call it as a splitter. Now when the jet of water strike this splitter at the center, the splitter divides the jet into two equal parts, and the jet comes out at the outer edge of the bucket. So you can see the jet will be striking this part at the center. So this jet is divided into two equal parts, and it will come out of the uh, this bucket. The bucket are so shaped that jet get deflected by an angle of 160 degree. So here it will strike in the like in the horizontal direction to the splitter. The splitter will split the jet into two equal part, and the jet leaves the bucket by the angle of 160 to 170 degree. The buckets are made up of either cast iron or cast steel, bronze or stainless steel, depending upon the head at the inlet of the turbine. So this is the first figure shows the bucket, and the second figure you can see a bucket is connected to the this uh, circular disc, and in the third figure you can see the number of such buckets are connected to the disc. So let us go with the third one, that is a casing. So here you can see that this cover or the the casing is provided in order to prevent the splashing of water and to discharge water to the tail race. So it is act as a safeguard against the accident. So it is made up of cast iron or fabricated steel plates. The casing of Pelton wheel does not perform any hydraulic function. So it does not involve in any hydraulic function. It is just in order to prevent the like when the jet of water strike this vein, so there is a chances of like water will get splash. So in order to prevent the water splashing out, and that it will help to control this, and as well as when the jet is striking, the vanes will be rotating. So it will also help to prevent the accidents. So and it will also help to discharge the water to the tail race. So here fourth part is the braking jet. So braking jet is nothing but that is provided in order to, so what happens is our work is done and we stopped this the we have stopped the working at the inlet. So here the spear is pushed, the now no water is going through this nozzle. So this runner will be continuously, it will be rotating. When the nozzle is completely closed by moving a spear in the forward direction, the amount of water striking the runner reduces to the zero, but the runner due to the inertia goes on revolving for the long time. So to stop the runner in short time, a nozzle is provided which directs the jet of water on the back of the vane. This jet is of water is called as braking jet. So even if we have stopped this inlet nozzle, so this runner will be continuously rotating for some time. So in order to stop this rotation, so here at the right side you can see a brake nozzle is provided or brake jet is provided. So this will be acting in the opposite direction in order to stop this revolution of the disc. So this is with the different parts of the uh, Pelton wheel. So I will explain this using an animation video. So let us go with the working of Pelton wheel turbine. So this is a storage reservoir. So here from the storage reservoir, a larger diameter pipe, that is penstock, is connected to the turbine. So here this is called as the penstock, which is used to supply water from the reservoir to the turbine. So water is regulated by inlet wall. So water is flowing now, you can see. And here we have different nozzles. Here three nozzles are connected, and using the spear arrangement according to the requirement. So it is spear arrangement is regulated, and water will be striking the buckets which is connected to the wheel. So now wheel of the turbine is rotating. Because of the rotation of the wheel, the shaft is rotating, so it is converted into mechanical energy. Shaft is coupled with the generator. So generator generates the electricity, so which is connected to the transformer, and they are connected to the distribution line for the distribution. So then you can see after the work done, so water is flowing through the draft tube to the downstream. So this is how Pelton wheel turbine will looks like. you can see the different parts: runner with the buckets, shaft and generator. So here number of buckets are connected to the runner. So this is how the buckets looks like. So we have here splitter at the center. The water will be striking the splitter which is at the center, which divides water into or jet into two equal parts, and water will be leaving the vane or get deflected at an angle 160 degree to 180 degree. So because of this striking of jet to the bucket, the runner will rotate here, in turn shaft will rotate. Now we will discuss velocity triangle and work done for the Pelton wheel. So this is the velocity triangle and this is the splitter. So I will draw the velocity triangle once again, how it will be. So here we will be having the two cups. You can see the splitter at the center. So water will be striking this splitter. So it will be striking with a velocity v1, and this wheel will be moving with the velocity u. So this will be u1. So whatever the remaining thing, it will be relative velocity, and v1 will be equal to vw1. So since here jet does not make any angle while it's striking at the inlet, so here water will be striking the splitter. The splitter will split this water into jet into two equal parts, and you can see now the jet will leave this plate making angle. See, I will draw here. So this will be VR1. So it will be making an angle here beta 2. So this is VR2, sorry, and this thing you will get it, and I will draw here. Let it be V2 making an angle alpha 2. The velocity components of V2 are Vf2 and Vw2. So what are the remaining? So this will be U2. So this is how we will get the velocity triangle. So it is neatly given here. So this will be beta 2, alpha 2, U2, Vw2, Vf2, everything, and inlet triangle will be like this. So let us go with the derivation. So net head is equal to let h is equal to net head acting on Pelton wheel. So that is we have already studied. So that is we can take net head h is equal to gross head minus head loss due to friction. So head loss due to friction can be given by the equation 4 into f l v square divided by 2 into g into d, where f is equal to coefficient of friction, l is equal to length of pipe, v is equal to velocity, g is equal to acceleration due to gravity, and d is equal to diameter of the penstock. So let v1 is equal to velocity of jet velocity of jet at inlet. So that can be calculated using formula rho 2g h. Let here inlet plate velocity and outlet plate velocity is nothing but velocity of wheel, so that will be same. So u is equal to u1 is equal to u2, so that is equal to velocity of wheel. So that is can be calculated using formula pi d n divided by 60, where d is the diameter of wheel and n is equal to rpm, that is the number of revolution. Here if you go with the inlet triangle, so velocity triangle, velocity trianglet inlet. So you can see here v1 is a velocity and v1 will be equal to vw1. So relative velocity vr1 is equal to, from the figure you can see that vr1 is equal to v1 minus u1. So that is v1 minus u1, and in the inlet velocity triangle beta 1 is equal to 0 and alpha 1 is equal to 0. So if you moving to the outlet triangle, outlet velocity triangle, so we will assume the plate is smooth, so we can take it vr1 is equal to vr2. So we will have the equation for force exerted by jet in the direction of motion is given by equation fx is equal to rho into a into v1 into vw1 plus vw2. Now we will go with the case acute angle when that is alpha 2 is acute. So work done is equal to work done by jet per second can be calculated as by using work done is equal to fx into u, where u is the velocity of wheel, so that is rho into a into v1 into vw1 plus vw2 into u. So that will be in the unit Newton meter per second. So next let us go with the power. So power we can calculate power p is equal to, you can calculate by fx into u divided by 1000. So we will get it in the rho into a into v1 into vw1 plus vw2 divided by 1000 into u. So you can calculate work done per unit weight of water striking per second, as that is equal to rho into a into v1 into vw1 plus vw2 into u. So since we are calculating for the per unit weight. So we have to divide it by rho into A into V1 into G. So this will get cancelled. So remaining is VW1 plus VW2 into U divided by G. So now let us go with the efficiency of the jet. So that is nothing but hydraulic efficiency. Efficiency of turbine. So that is hydraulic efficiency. Hydraulic efficiency denoted by eta H is equal to output divided by input. Output is work done per second divided by input is kinetic energy per second. So work done per second. So now we have work done per second is equal to we have Fx into U. So Fx is equal to rho into A into V1 into VW1 plus VW2. So here we can write VW1 from the figure. From the figure you can see VW1 is equal to V1. And what is VW2? So VW2 is equal to, so if you go through the velocity triangle at the outlet, we need VW2. If you apply here cos beta 2 to this triangle, you can get it. So that is get VW2 is equal to VR2 cos beta 2 minus U2. So we have to substitute here. So what is VR2? So VR2 is, we can get it as VR2 is equal to, that is V2 minus, so that is VR2 cos phi minus U. So that is VR2 is equal to VR1. VR2 is equal to VR1. So that we can calculate Vn minus U cos beta 2 minus U2. So VR2 is equal to VR1. VR1 is equal to V1 minus U. So this is what we'll get. So if you substitute the Fx, so rho into A into V1 into VW1 is V1 plus V1 minus U cos beta 2 minus U2 is equal to, so that what we'll get is U. U1 is equal to U2 is equal to U. So we have hydraulic efficiency eta is H is equal to output divided by input. Output is work done, so that is Fx into U. So that is rho into A into V1 into V1 minus U plus V1 minus U cos beta 2. So that is work done Fx into U divided by input is kinetic energy half into rho into A into V1 into V1 square. So this get cancelled. So we'll take 2 to the numerator. 2 into V1 minus U is common. So V1 minus U into 1 plus cos of beta 2 divided by V1 square. So this is the equation for hydraulic efficiency. So what we will do is now we'll go with the condition for maximum efficiency. So we know that condition for maximum efficiency with respect to the velocity should be minimum. So that is equal to 0. So we will differentiate efficiency with respect to u. So that should be equal to minimum equal to 0. So here d by du of 2 into v1 minus u into 1 plus cos beta 2. So here into u is left here, into u divided by v1 square. So here what we will have is, we'll take the constant thing outside. So that is 2 is constant, 2 into v1 square is constant, 1 plus cos beta 2 is constant, into d by du of u into v1 minus u. So if you take all these things to the other side, that will be equal to 0. Differentiation of this thing with respect to u. So that is d by du of u into v1 minus u. So that should be equal to 0. So here we'll use the product rule. U into differentiation of v1 is 0 minus 1 plus v1 minus u into differentiation of u is 1. So that is equal to 0. So minus u plus v minus u. So that is equal to 0. v1 minus 2u is equal to 0. v1 is equal to 2u. So we'll substitute this to the equation of efficiency. So efficiency 2 into v1 is 2u minus u into 1 plus cos beta 2 into u divided by v1 square into u divided by v1 square. So that is 2u whole square. So you should solve it. Here 2 into 2u minus u is u into 1 plus cos beta 2 into u divided by 2 into u square is 4u square. So here 2 1s are 2 2s are is u and u square get cancelled. So here you will get eta h is equal to 1 plus cos beta 2 divided by 2 is a condition for maximum hydraulic efficiency. Thank you.